Pringle, you open this case against Mr. Brown because you say he denies fathering your 18-month-old daughter, Tatiana. You state he has acted like she doesn't exist since the day she was born. You want Mr. Brown to step up after today's results? Prove he is the father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, you claim Miss Pringle is a known cheater who fathered the child in question with another man. You insist there is no way you are her daughter's father and have medical evidence to prove your case. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Miss Pringle, you say Mr. Brown is denying your baby?
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
He says that she's not his because I have cheated before and it was just an accident. But I have sat down and I told him that the mistake was a mistake and I haven't done it since then. And I don't think he should put that against her.
And so I can see in your eyes that you feel really badly.
Yes.
That this mistake is basically costing your daughter the opportunity to have a father in her life.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you tell the court what that feels like? I see the tears in your eyes.
It hurts really bad because I have to raise her on my own. And no child should go through that.
Can you look at Mr. Brown and tell him how much this hurts?
It hurts really bad that you're denying my daughter. She looks for you every day, and she says daddy every day, but you're nowhere around to help me raise her. She's probably like, where's my daddy? Nobody cares about me but my mother.
The reason why I feel like that because the time she was saying, like the situation she cheated on me, always a cheater will be a cheater.
So you feel traumatized
Yes.
by catching her?
Yes.
How did you find out she was cheating?
She always get anonymous phone calls leaving out the room or started sitting there talking to me like if she was talking to a family member.
Okay, so take me back to how you cheated.
I met someone on a dating site. We made out, and that's what happened.
So it was just something casual?
Yes.
All right. So take me to the moment you found out you were pregnant or realized you were pregnant.
I went to a free clinic, and I took the test, and they said I was 4 weeks and 3 days.
Pregnant?
Yes.
And then you called Mr. Brown?
Yes, and I told him I was pregnant. He was happy, and we were together for like 2 months, and we broke up.
And so he was happy, but for 2 months?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Brown, you were only happy for 2 months?
We didn't have sex at the time, like the conception time that she got pregnant. But we was broken up.
At the conception time, you didn't have sex then?
No.
Okay.
I don't know where he got his information from, but there's nobody but him.
But after he confirmed you were cheating and you admitted to it, then you start getting phone calls where you got to leave the room. That doesn't feel too good. Do you understand? Like that doesn't, look, okay, let me break this down. After you've been cheated on, all your red flags, all your senses are up. Spidey sense is on overdrive. So every time you got a call and then you had to leave the room to talk, look, truth be told, even if it was a family member and you had to leave the room and talk, I'd have been like, oh, you can't talk to your family member in front of me? You hear that, Jerome? That's what I would have said to you. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. Something isn't computing, especially after infidelity in a relationship.
Yes.
Let's talk about the type of relationship Mr. Brown has with Tatiana. Were you there when Tatiana was born, Mr. Brown?
No.
Did you participate at all in any of the doctor's appointments and go?
Just one.
Just one?
Yes.
You didn't come to the birth?
No.
So I guess you didn't sign the birth certificate either?
I signed it because I felt like she needed a father because I didn't have a father figure at the time either in my life, so I wanted to give her a feeling like she has a dad to depend on.
Did you have doubts when you did that?
Yes, but I felt kind of bad because I don't want a child to go through the same thing I went through.
All right. There's a lot going on here. Well, this is a first in this courtroom. You say you both have medical evidence that proves your case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Pringle, you say you have medical evidence that proves Mr. Brown is Tatiana's biological father. And Mr. Brown, you say you have medical evidence that proves there is no way you can be Tatiana's biological father. I want to start with Ms. Pringle. Can you tell me about your medical evidence that says that Mr. Brown is, in fact, her biological father?
Yes, Your Honor. She's lactose intolerant, so is he, and other family members in his family is lactose intolerant. I'm not. And because she has the same hairline as him, and she also does this squat that he does.
Squat?
Yeah, she does it all the time.
What is the squat?
Like when I'm fixing on something.
Let me see.
I can do that.
Jerome, now, if you can do that squat.
Which one?
Let's do, we don't.
Can we do it out here?
Let me prove this case here. Oh. Now, Jerome, if you can do this squat, that would then help Mr. Brown's case that it may not be hereditary. Can you squat? Can you do it? Go back there. Right.
Oh.
Go right there. Go right there. Jerome, now can you squat down there like that?
Exactly how.
Oh, shoot. Oh, and then I gotta laugh to keep from crying. It's not the same though. It's not the same squat. You gotta be even on both legs. Uh-oh, Jerome. Oh!
Gotta have a good gun belt on.
Oh, okay. Your gun belt is holding you back. Okay. So, thank you, Jerome,
You're welcome.
for your demonstration. Jerome, I don't even know why we gave the DNA test. We got all the
There it
answers.
is.
The baby
There it is.
squats.
Yeah.
He squats.
Case closed.
Okay, sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying, y'all. Okay. So, Mr. Brown, I wanna hear about your medical evidence. And I want it to be a little bit better than Ms. Pringles.
Okay, my medical evidence, I have asthma, and it runs down in the family. My other significant kid has asthma.
Your other kid has asthma.
Yes.
How many other children you have?
I have several.
How many?
I would have had 8.
Wait a minute. What? What do you mean you would have had 8? So Tatiana would be your 8th kid?
Yes.
And all your kids have asthma, but Tatiana doesn't?
Yes.
That's a lie. The other 2 kids don't look nothing like him. He only denies mine.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on, why are you running around here making all these children?
No reason.
That's what that is. That's a significant amount of kids. What is going on?
Don't
You have a job?
Yes.
Can you take care of all these kids?
Not really, Your Honor.
I know you can't. 27 years old with almost 7, maybe 8 kids. That's not good. It's not good for the kids at all. It's not good for them mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. It's just not, it's not smart. I try to tell you men out here, I'm telling you, and the mothers too. You think these kids don't grow up? When they get about 7, 8, 9, 10, you think they don't know their daddy's raggedy? Or their mother? I mean, you don't think they know that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I've said my piece. I know one thing, people always come in here with medical evidence, and I have to check it with the expert. So I want to hear more about medical evidence relating to asthma and kids being lactose intolerant. Jerome, will you please escort Dr. Jamila Gator into the courtroom? I've got some questions for her. Hello, Dr. Gator.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here with us. So, Ms. Pringle has presented in her case that she believes that Mr. Brown is her daughter's biological father because Mr. Brown is lactose intolerant and her daughter is lactose intolerant, and there are people in his family who are also lactose intolerant.
Okay.
Can you explain to the court whether this is something that is passed down? Is it hereditary? How do you become lactose intolerant?
Okay, that's a great question, actually. So when you're lactose intolerant, your body doesn't produce an enzyme called lactase, and lactase is what breaks down the milk. So actually, lactose intolerance in some ethnicities is very common, but it typically develops starting at age 5 through adulthood. Your body stops making the enzyme, you can't digest milk anymore. And in the case where it develops where a child is born lactose intolerant, so from the time they're a baby, they can't digest the formula, they can't digest the milk, that is genetically inherited and requires one gene from each parent for that child to be born lactose intolerant.
That is really fascinating because you hear a lot of people talk about that and you don't really know, okay, where does this come from?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, understood. Now, I want to go to Mr. Brown's evidence. Mr. Brown says he believes he cannot be Miss Pringle's daughter's biological father because he has 7 other children and they all have asthma and he has asthma, but Tatiana does not have asthma. Is asthma something that you pass down in that way? So that if a child doesn't have it, that's an indicator that the man is not the biological father?
So asthma is a bit more tricky. Asthma is involved with both genes passed down and the environment, environmental triggers like in pollution and things like that. So if a parent has asthma, the child is 2 to 3 more times likely to develop the asthma, but it's not guaranteed because there's so many other factors that go into developing asthma.
Very informative, Dr. Gator. I really appreciate that. I will let you get back to your work. I know you are very busy taking care of patients. Thank you so much. You may be excused to run. Will you please escort Dr. Gator?
Okay.
Go out this way. Go out this way. Watch your step.
What we've determined from the doctor's testimony is none of this is conclusive. So we are basically right back where we started from, the beginning of this case, where you believe Mr. Brown is the biological father of Tatiana And Mr. Brown, you believe you are not. Ms. Pringle, I want you to take a moment and look at Mr. Brown. And if in fact he is Tatiana's biological father, I want you to take a moment and tell him what you want and what you need from him, because you've been with Tatiana by yourself for 18 months.
I want you to help me financially, emotionally, and physically to be there for her and show her what a guy shouldn't do to her when she grows up. You have to be there and teach her all these things.
Mm-hmm. All right, I think the only thing left to do is get the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Pringle versus Brown, when it comes to 18-month-old Tatiana Pringle, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are the father.
Sorry for not being there for my child. I will help you financially. So you don't have to worry anymore. I'll be in my daughter's life.
That's your beautiful little girl, Mr. Brown. When you look at her and see how beautiful and special and innocent she is, can you imagine a man promising to be there for her and then just leaving her out in the cold? Can you imagine that?
No.
That's who you've been. That's the thing you can't imagine another man doing to her, you've done. And you got to start making up for that right now. It's important.